Hi, all Geethamites. Welcome back to the session on Gandhi for the 21st century. As you are all aware, we discussed the childhood experiences of Gandhi in the first unit and his England days as a barrister student. In the second module, we discussed the various experiences of Gandhi in South Africa and his transformation from Mohan to Mahatma. Today, we will discuss Mahatma Gandhi's contribution to India's national movement. The fight against British colonialism started on Indian soil before the first war of India's independence, the famous Sepoy Mutiny. The protest started a national character when A.O. Hume and W.C. Banerjee established Indian National Congress in 1885. There are various perspectives on the beginning of the Indian National Congress. Some national leaders like Lala Lajpat Rai believed it was a conspiracy of the Britishers to understand what was happening among the Indian community. However, the initial years of the Indian National Congress were popularly known as the Tea Party politics, as there was not much seriousness in the political discussions that happened at that time. Moreover, the upper caste, Western educated Hindus dominated Indian National Congress in the initial years. They were far away from the pathetic conditions of the poor village people. The entry of Mahatma Gandhi into India's national movement brought considerable changes into the Indian political scenario. So let us understand what was the contribution of Gandhi towards the Indian national movement. Let me share the screen. Gandhi returned to India in 1915 after 21 years of his struggle in South Africa. He met his political guru and advisor Gopal Krishna Gokhale, the leader of the moderate faction of the Indian National Congress at that time. Gokhale advised Gandhi to travel across India to understand the real face of our villages, the cultural diversities, and numerous issues faced by millions of people across the country. So Gandhi and Kasturba traveled across the country in third-class compartments. He directly witnessed the cruelties of the Britishers, how poverty engrossed Indian villages, and how people resisted colonialism in their own way. He also learned how much awareness they need of sanitation and self-reliance. The travel was an eye-opener for Gandhi, and he wanted to invest his time and energy to liberate India from her slavery. He became an active part of Indian National Congress. He started his political career in India with local experiments like Champaran Satyagraha, Kheda Satyagraha, and Ahmedabad mill workers' strike. The first instance was Champaran Satyagraha. Champaran is a district in Bihar. The 1850s Industrial Revolution brought many changes in production and consumption patterns. Britishers started with many textile mills in Britain and exploited their colonies for raw materials. Indigo is a plant which used to produce dye needed for textiles. The Britishers initiated a system in India which was known as Tinkatiya, in which the landowners must compulsorily cultivate indigo in 1/3 of their land. It continued for a period, but the poor farmers were suffering as the cultivation of indigo was not that easy in the Indian climate. When they resisted, the European planters filed cases against them and the government confiscated their property, including the cattle. Some of the leaders of the protest seek the help of Gandhi to launch a protest in Champaran. So Gandhi visited the place and started a Satyagraha ashram. His initial concern was to remove the injustices from our own society. He noticed the unhygienic situation in the village and suppression of women. His initial campaign was against the removal of untouchability among the villagers. He gave messages against the Parda system and women's suppression. Kasturba Gandhi, who followed him in Champaran, gave the sanitation lessons to the villagers. Doctors accompanied him, gave the poor village farmers free medical checkups and medicines. Volunteers set up a school for the village children. It was a new experience for the villagers. Gandhi stayed in Champaran for about 6 months and had several talks with European planters and British officers. At the end of the epic Satyagraha, the government compensated for the loss of the farmers and cancelled the revenue hikes. It was a watershed moment in the history of the Indian national movement when one person won his battle with peaceful means. It was after this Champaran Satyagraha, Gandhi got his name Bapu, means father. It was Rabindranath Tagore fondly called him Mahatma, which was with him throughout the remaining years. The Satyagraha launched by Gandhi was Kheda Satyagraha in 1980. Kheda is a district in Gujarat. There was a famine in Gujarat during that period. Without considering that, the Britishers increased the taxes. There were difficulties again in the form of plague and cholera. I do not know how many of you are aware, but once upon a time, cholera and plague were like the COVID of today. The disease killed 17,000 people in Kheda alone. People requested the government tax relaxation, but the government didn't consider. Gandhi became a popular name then, and his Satyagraha became a popular strategy to fight against injustice. Gujarati Sabha was formed to resist the injustice under Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and they considered Gandhi as their spiritual leader. They denied paying taxes to the government. The result was the success of Kheda Satyagraha. The government was ready to compensate the farmers and retain the properties confiscated from the villagers. And you can see that tax also got suspended for the next 2 years. That was a great achievement for the villagers. The third Satyagraha was also from Gujarat, Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad was also a place for textile mills. In 1919, the textile mill owners reduced the wage of their workers. It resulted in a dispute between the mill owners and the workers. The workers organized a hartal. Gandhi went to Ahmedabad and started a hunger strike. It was the first hunger strike in the history of Indian national movement. His fasting lasted for 21 days. His health condition deteriorated. Finally, the mill owners had no other option other than to yield before the workers' demands. The mill owners increased the wages of the workers by 35%. These are the local experiments of Gandhi on Satyagraha, which made him a popular leader in India. In the following video, we will discuss about the national level campaigns of Gandhi. Thank you.